Hey everyone, today's another video on Z690 Asus motherboards. I originally had a video on this done separately, but then I got the formula the next day. I said some things on here that I speculated about the formula from what I saw online and pictures from other people, and it was a little bit off, so I found it best to just redo it since I got the board. Okay, I wasn't off, I was mostly there, just having it in hand gives me the best, idea of what you're getting for the money. So let's go over the Apex first, then we'll talk about the formula. So I'm gonna scoot the formula to the side, all right, file it to the side, and start with the Apex, okay? The Apex price point is $720. That's pretty much MSRP currently. If you're skipping through this video, I will tell you this is better than Hero. Do not buy the goddamn Hero, buy this instead. Even though it's $100 more, it's a better board. Okay, moving on. Right in the box, let's take the board out first, and then we'll go over the accessories, then we'll go over the board. Okay, so first you get a Gen 5 NVMe card, probably the dumbest card you'll ever see because it's a single slot. I don't know why they felt the need to differentiate that. Instead of giving you a dual card, dual NVMe slot card like in the Formula and in the Hero, they decided to give you a single one. This runs Gen 5 on the Hero and the Formula one. One is Gen 5, one is Gen 4. And depending on which slot you slot it in, it may be Gen 5, it may be Gen 4. Some crap like that, I don't even remember. This is just retarded. Okay, I'm gonna go into why it's more retarded for this board in a second. File that to the side. You get your membership card, manual, stickers. All right, so it's pretty standard ASUS affair. M2 card, for those that don't know, M2 is the expansion card that allows you to add M2 drives. On this board, I believe you do not sacrifice any lanes. Okay, and I'm not 100% sure about you sacrificing any SATA ports. I don't think you do either, since it only has 6. I think you're just giving up lanes on the PCH. Okay. ROG voltition. This is for you to monitor your voltage right off the board. Okay. Aside from the pinouts, this allows you to connect to. I've never used one of these things, but I do know it connects to an external device that you can monitor, like one of those like PSU monitors kind of deals, to monitor the voltage going into your motherboard. If I'm wrong on that, correct me in the comments, but I believe that's how it works. RGB extension. See, this is the kind of JST connector to 3-pin. This kind of works for like the ASUS RGBs tend to be like this. Okay, branded ones. What is that? Okay, more temperature sensors, SATA cables, Wi-Fi antenna, keychain. Not something for ambient use, but looks like an sensor extension. This looks like the same thing. DIMM screw. What's this? Sensor extension. And what's this? Okay, so one of those M2 plastic hold downs. These are new for the Z690 lineup. I don't know why it's not on the board, but in the box. But I'm assuming maybe it's for the M2 card. That's the only reason why I think it's in there and not on the board itself. So let's scoot this aside and we'll go over the board, okay? Alrighty. The board is very flat matte black with some shiny black. And I'm gonna try to hit my softbox on top so you can see it. Okay, you see how that raw kind of lights up now? Yeah. So this part has no lighting. It's kind of like the Hero. It's just going to have to require something to reflect on to show up. All right. So if you have it in your case, you're going to see a black square, just like this. Unless you have a piece of paper dangling in front of your case, you're just going to see this. All right. Or if you're on Island 2, you have a blue shop towel, you're going to have a blue ROG logo. Okay. So under this large M2, you get large heatsink. There's an M2 drive. There's another M2 drive down here. This is all metal, and it's got a diamond cut finish on this aluminum here. So I don't know if you can see that, but nice aesthetic. This raw guy does light up. So that is the only RGB on the board. And then we'll just quickly run over the board and then we'll move on. So you get PWM fan on top, 2 8 pins, CPU optional. For those of you that don't know what CPU optional is, CPU optional is essentially CPU clone of CPU header. Okay, so then you get a DRGB pointed up. That's new. I haven't seen that. It might have been on the Z690 Apex. Can't tell you for sure. Another DRGB fan header, larger than normal post. This is good for the LN2 boys. You get some your start flex key, and I'm not even sure what that button is without reading the manual, but you get a lot of them. I assume most of these would be related to extreme overclocking. So for those of you in that crowd, you should be happy to see these. You get some RSVD switches here and here. I'm not sure what these switches do off the top of my head, but I have to check. Then you get your probe ports. These are nice. You can just stick your needle right in, and you don't have to worry about soldering anything. And then you have your 24-pin USB-C, another fan port, USB 3, additional power for overclocking, 6 SATA ports, and then your normal slew of front panel USB 2s for the AIO boys. And then you have your USB 3, additional sensors, temperature sensors, and 2 more RGBs, and one of these headers down here, I'm not sure which one. Oh, you get a Thunderbolt header. So if you have like a Thunderbolt IO extension, you can use that. So you do get some Thunderbolt support. And I believe this connects to that ROG voltician that I showed you earlier that allows you to monitor your board voltages externally. Okay. And we'll go on to the back. Nothing back here. No backplate. Hard to get a backplate these days. On ASUS at least. BIOS reset. Sorry, not reset, guys. Flashback. BIOS reset here. Old school keyboard and mouse. I guess that's if your USB ports aren't functioning under LN2. Type C. BIOS flashback. 2.5 gigabyte LAN. Wi-Fi 6E. Regular audio ports. And then looking at the VRM, this is a 24 phase, just like the Extreme. But unlike the Extreme, you get the better caps. These provide power, less delay, TLDR. Okay, there's much more to that, but you also get them in a triple array. So it really sucks to own an Extreme because, traditionally the Extreme gives you everything without compromise. And when you compromise small crap like this, I get this is more expensive. When you compromise stuff like this for $400 more, it's really shitty. That's just shitty. Okay, so I'm sad this is not in the Extreme. I really hope this is on the Glacial. I really hope this is on the Glacial, because that's going to be a real piss off at like $2,000. Okay, and then you get a DIMM.2 on this board. For those of you that don't know, like I said earlier, that's the expansion drive slot. So you should have four DIMMs without that add-on card. Okay, so now the add-on card will go into here or here, one of the Gen 5s, and it will eat X8 and it'll leave the other one running X8. This is what I mean by it's fucking stupid to kill your additional add-on card over one NVMe. Okay, 2, fine. See, that's the thing. I don't know how many lanes Gen 5 drives need off the top of my head, because they don't exist yet. But I assume they probably need X4, not X8. Okay, so even if it needed, that's the thing. It doesn't make sense to give me an NVMe card with one drive when you already make one that has 2 that you give on the Hero and give on the Formula. So why are you shafting me? This is the kind of like nickel and diming that I don't understand. It's like kind of new with ASUS now, and I don't get it either. So that wraps up the Apex. What I will say about the Apex is, see, I have to reflect against something to show that ROG. If you're buying a Hero, oh God. With the Hero, you get 2 M2 support until you add in that stupid card, right? On this one, you get 4, and M2s are, much, I just like M2 drives. I think most people like M2 drives over SATA. Right now, they're 8 gigabyte M2 cards. All right, the 8 gigabyte M2 drives are kind of expensive, but, it'll come down in time, right? So, I think all these boards are going to see a cut soon because DDR5 is not really available. So they might get a cut, okay, until DDR5 becomes highly available. So I would say at $100 more than Hero, I don't even want to say this, but I would get this over the Hero because you're getting better power delivery. Not that it really matters, but you're getting just a board that actually has better layout. Okay, that's just kind of the way it is. And if you're concerned about 2 DIMM slots, right now we have 16 gigabyte DIMMs, but DDR5 should go up to 64 gigabyte DIMMs. Okay, maximum. We're not going to see anytime soon, but 32 gigabyte DIMMs I'm pretty sure is around the corner. So you get 64 gigabytes of RAM. That's more than enough for 4K video editing, gaming, After Effects, unless it's an insane amount of After Effects or something like that. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing you don't need 4 DIMM slots when you have 32 gigabyte or 64 gigabyte DIMMs. You just don't. For the audience that this is going to, right? So, which includes filthy casuals like myself. So let's move on. We'll move on to the Formula. So far, buy this, don't buy the Hero. Okay, because the Hero is just $600 overpriced. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. This is overpriced too. Just, you know, in the battle of lesser evils, you know, you take what you can get, right? So let me move this to the side. All right, Formula time. White box, price point, $800. This is more expensive than any previous Formula, right? It's not news. Everything is this generation. Now, for those of you who don't know, the previous Formula has always been a Hero with the copper block on it and an OLED, right? For like, on average, $200 to $300 more. So ASUS is selling copper at a higher price than everybody else. So that was the whole old Hero Formula idea. So as you guys know, I have the Hero here. So I'm going to show you the difference here in a second here. So those of you who, you know, think it's just that, it's a little different this time around. So I've unboxed this already, so it's not news to me. But it's white. It's very white. And for those of you who love whiteboards, you're in for a treat this time, because this is a really, I mean, it's a shame the PCB is black because it's a Hero PCB, but there are some changes. And you know, I ripped off all the plastic, and I'm just gonna unbox the board, show you real quick, and then we'll go over the accessories, and then we'll go over the board. So let me move the board and junk to the side, and go over what's in the box here. All right, so you get the silver card. This is the same card as the one that's in the Hero. The only difference is they didn't coat it with the black. So like I said in the Hero video, if you want a silver one, just take the black, get some caustic soda, dunk the heatsink in there, you'll strip the anodizing, and it'll look just like this. All right, so yeah, it's nice and silver. Oh, you get a silver back plate too, which I'm sure you can just strip the other one. And it looks like, yep, it's also a 2-slotter, just like the Hero one. And I believe one runs X5, one runs X4. Ass stupid, but you know, it is what it is. And then let's go into the accessories. That looks kind of empty, don't it? All right. Keychain, GPU support. No, did we not get this in the Apex box? I don't remember. These must be for the M2 cards at this point, because they're not on the board. These are the M2 plastic hold downs. You get 2 of them, so they're definitely for the card. You get Wi-Fi antenna. What is that? RGB extension, RGB to JST. More M2 stuff. Front panel header, which I didn't see in the Apex box either for some strange reason. Might have missed it. What is this? For single-sided use M2 slots. Stick this pad onto existing M2 pad. Okay, it's kind of strange, but all right. SATA cables. SATA cables. Yeah, these are braided, and these are not. That makes no sense, right? So they braid the 90 degrees, but the ones you get that aren't 90 degrees are still the old plasticky. Like, I don't get these companies sometimes, right? Especially when you're spending $800. It's really hard to give a little more braided cable, right? It's like being cheap for no reason. Just stupid. All right, moving on. Okay, so when I first saw this board online, I thought it was overpriced and ridiculous, okay? And then I got it in person, and originally I had nothing nice to say about this board, to be honest with you. And I think in my first Hero video, I said, unless you're really into whiteboards, don't buy the Formula. This board is different, and I'm going to show that right now by pulling out the Hero, and we'll look at them side by side, and you'll see what the extra like 200 gets you. Okay. Obviously, accessories, you can, if you watch my other video, you can take my word for it, the accessories are the same. Okay? So, side by side. There you go. Now, you can tell right away, you know, without being a PCB genius, that these two PCBs are identical. Yeah? So, you have the same VRM layout, right? Exactly the same. Okay? Exactly the same. Main difference is the heatsink. This is a piece of copper. Okay, that's, you know, some people buy and don't use it, which I don't fucking understand. But okay. And a lot of this used to be plastic on the Formula and the code for that one generation. This is like, some of this is metal now. It's not plastic, including this part. Like, this is plastic here. This is metal. Which is nice, right? And but you can see it's the exact same PCB elsewise. All right. So if you're thinking you're getting something, I think the only difference is if we look on the back, you get a 2.5 gigabyte LAN, all right, on here, and on the Formula you get a 10 gigabyte LAN. But elsewise, you'll notice it's exactly the same. Outside the 10 gigabyte LAN, and I think that, yeah, the BIOS flash port is in a different position. But elsewise, you see how it's the same deal, just 10 gigabyte LAN instead. Now that's a nice improvement. You get the OLED, which you're not going to use. Like, you're never going to look at the OLED. That's just God's honest truth. Okay, so those of you that didn't watch the Hero video, here you go. 2 8 pins on top, slew of fan headers, postcode, RGB, because that's important. USB-C, additional power, USB 3, 6 SATA, USB 3 again, and front panel, sensors, USB 2 for the AIOs, and more fan headers, and more RGB. That pretty much sums it up. You see in the back, you get 2 Thunderbolts, HDMI out, I out for the, you know, onboard GPU, 10 gigabyte LAN. Oh, speaking of which, if you guys are using Gen 3 risers with Gen 4 cards, sometimes you run into an issue where it's not going to display out. And you have to set it to Gen 3 rather than auto. That happened on some of the X570 boards. So if you have onboard video, you know, just reset your BIOS. Normally it'll default to this. If you don't have a GPU in, it'll default to this. Then you can adjust the setting for the riser cable to be Gen 3. Then you won't have that problem anymore. Okay, just a quick tip. So for those of you getting black screen with a GPU and a riser cable, that's probably one reason. Okay. And then we come onto the back, a back plate. How fucking amazing is that shit? A back plate. Okay. This is the. You guys gotta correct me. I really don't remember another ATX ASUS board with a back plate off the top of my head. I don't think the previous Formulas had it. I don't even remember. Because I had the Z490, Z390, I didn't have the Z590, and I don't remember they had a back plate. I don't think they did, off the top of my head. But look, a back plate and a nice ASUS ROG logo, and you know, this is a heavy ass board. I'm gonna show you once. Hold on, let me get the scale. 1 second, guys. So I'm back. Let's first do a refresher with the lightweight Hero. All right. So our lightweight Hero comes in at 1,772 grams. All right, so let's put down Captain Basic, and let's get our Formula on here. 2,390. I still think that's less than the Master. If I remember, I think the Master was 700 grams more, right? So you can see there's a lot more heft now that we got a back plate. Okay, we got a back plate. We got some more metal parts on the board itself. And, you know, the block helps, but you can see now, this is what this actually feels good you know, this feels good and premium, while that just feels cheap. You know what I mean? And this is, you know, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I kind of wish, you know, we got more for the money. You know, $800. You guys have to remember, I mean, my Zenith 2 Extreme Alpha for Threadripper, that thing was $850. All right, so this is, I mean, prices have gone up, but this is, I mean, I hate to say it now. Like, I was against this board, and now I got it in my hand, and it's back to that lesser of two evils again, where, you know, I don't think you should, you know, I mean, if you're gonna spend the money on this, I mean, I have guys, you know, in the comments that go, you know, I never touch Gigabyte, I won't buy a Master, etc. I totally understand it, and you know, but I mean, if you're gonna spend the ASUS money, if you don't have a loop, get the Apex. If you have a loop, get the Formula. Unless you really want to be on a chiller or something, get the Apex. I mean, the VRMs are all overkill no matter what. They don't even need heat sinks. That's just God honest truth. And it's hard. I mean, this board, I mean, this stuff used to be plastic on the previous generations. Now it's metal, and it's hard to ignore. I mean, this lights up RGB. I'm gonna light it up in a second. So does this part. And instead of, you know, the you know, the reflection to make it light up, this actually lights up. Which I don't. Come on, man. I mean, seriously, dude. We're playing these kind of cheap ass games at $600. I mean, you see what I'm talking about now? Now that I show you guys, like, you know, like this is just really bottom barrel, right? So let me dim these lights so I can hit up the RGB real quick. All right. Turned off all the lights. Still a little dim in here, but you can see it. This is the ROG logo. You get the Formula screen that will just kind of trigger this until you can put something custom. You could put temperature, whatever you want to use, but you got to use the Armory crate to set it up. And then the Armory crate has to be running for it to display what you want it to display. Otherwise, it does what it wants to do. So nice RGB. You know, this is, I really like this board. You know, I don't get me wrong, I don't like the price. I don't like that we have to pay $800 for it. But I think as an ASUS fan, if I had to pick one out of the entire lineup between balance and functionality and, you know, overall, I would pick this one. I mean, I wouldn't, even the Glacial is the everything board, but I would still pick this over the Glacial simply because, I don't know, man. This does actually look pretty darn good. And I'm not a huge fan of white motherboards, you know, but this looks really, really good. I just wish the PCB was white or silver. That's the only gripe I have against it. But other than that, yeah. So like I said, if you have a custom loop, get the Formula. Get the most out of your loop. It'll look nice if you do your loop nicely. If you have ambient and you want to get the most, and you want to get into maybe you have, you know, EK will make one of those chillers like they did for the previous socket. I think it's limited to 300 something watts, and I think that's why it's not usable on everything. If they make one of those, the Apex is going to be amazing. Okay, so, you know, just, I would say if you're going to buy the ASUS, get the Apex, get the Formula. Don't buy the Hero. All right, they'll make more money off you on this, but at least you'll feel better about what you got at the end of the day, right? So that pretty much wraps it up. I will be starting a build with this board first. Then I will I'll maybe do the Gigabyte Extreme because I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, this board comes first. I'll pick a case. I'll do something, but the build I've decided will come with this first. I won't be getting the Glacial till next year, apparently, going to B&H. So that's that. But I will have to somehow get RAM that matches this nicely. I'll either paint it or something. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay safe out there, and take care.